Hey everyone! Welcome back to another epic tale from ancient history. Today let's dive into the legendary Trojan War, one of the most famous stories from ancient Greece. This epic conflict has fascinated people for centuries. The Trojan War was a massive conflict, almost like a clash of the strongest superheroes of the ancient world. It was a battle driven by themes of love, honor, and revenge. The story begins with a Trojan prince named Paris, who fell in love with Helen, the most beautiful woman in the world. But there was a problem. Helen was already married to King Menelaus of Sparta. When Paris took Helen back to Troy, Menelaus was furious. Determined to retrieve his wife and restore his honor, Menelaus called upon all the Greek kings and warriors. They were led by the mighty Agamemnon, who was known for his strength and leadership. Together, they set sail for Troy, ready to wage war and bring Helen back. But the city of Troy was well fortified and prepared for battle. The Trojans, under the leadership of their wise king Priam and his valiant son Hector, were not going to surrender easily. Hector in particular was a formidable warrior, known for his bravery and skill in combat. He led the Trojan army with great courage, making it difficult for the Greeks to gain any ground. The war dragged on for 10 long years, with countless battles and heavy losses on both sides. Despite their best efforts, neither the Greeks nor the Trojans could secure a decisive victory. The Greeks, unable to breach the massive walls of Troy, realized they needed a new strategy. They had to think outside the box to find a way to overcome the resilient Trojans. Odysseus, the king of Ithaca, was a really smart guy, known for his cleverness. He came up with a brilliant plan to end the war. His idea? Build a giant wooden horse, a pretend gift for the unsuspecting Trojans. The Greeks would act like they were sailing home, leaving the horse as a "we give up" present. But secretly, inside the horse were some of the best Greek warriors, like Odysseus, the brave Diomedes, and the powerful Ajax the Lesser, ready for battle. They built this huge horse and said it was for Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war, hoping she'd help them win the long, drawn-out conflict. The Trojans were tired of fighting. After years of relentless battles, their spirits were worn down and their bodies were exhausted. The war had taken a heavy toll on them, and they longed for peace. They really wanted to believe this horse was a sign of peace. The sight of the massive wooden horse filled them with hope and a sense of relief. They thought it was a symbol of the end of their suffering. They thought the Greeks had given up, and the horse was a gift to their gods. The Trojans celebrated, offering gifts to their deities, convinced that their prayers had been answered and the war was finally over. Even though Cassandra, a Trojan princess who could see the future, warned them, nobody listened. Her desperate pleas fell on deaf ears as the Trojans were too eager to embrace the idea of peace. They pulled the horse inside their city walls. The massive structure was dragged through the gates with great effort, as the Trojans believed it would bring them good fortune. That night, while the Trojans were partying, thinking they'd won, the Greek warriors inside the horse got ready. The city was filled with music and laughter, unaware of the impending doom lurking within the wooden horse. When it was dark, they snuck out, opened the city gates, and let the rest of the Greek army, who had secretly come back, into Troy. The city, which had been celebrating moments before, was now on the brink of destruction. The Greeks, with their sneaky plan, finally got inside Troy. They had spent years trying to breach the city's formidable walls, but it was their cunning strategy that ultimately led to their success. The Trojan horse, a seemingly innocent gift, was the key to their victory. The city was taken in one night of fighting and chaos. The Trojans, caught off guard, were unable to defend their city against the sudden onslaught. Fires raged and the streets were filled with the sounds of battle and the cries of the fallen. The Trojan War, a story of love, betrayal, and revenge, ended with the Greeks winning. Their victory was celebrated with great joy, but the cost of the war was immense. The ruins of Troy stood as a testament to the fierce and relentless conflict that had taken place. The Trojan horse is still famous today as a symbol of tricks, strategy, and how clever people can be. It represents the power of ingenuity and the importance of thinking outside the box when faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges. It teaches us that things aren't always what they seem, and even the strongest walls can be beaten with smarts, planning, and a little bit of trickery. The story of the Trojan horse reminds us to be wary of gifts that seem too good to be true. The Trojan War and the Trojan horse remind us how powerful stories can be, how complicated war is, and how tricky it can be to know who to trust. These ancient tales continue to captivate our imaginations and offer valuable lessons about human nature and the complexities of conflict.